Well, let's get on to our Week 15 picks. So we've got a full slate. We're done with bye weeks officially, correct? We're done with that.
Yes, we are
Uh,
done. All 32 teams will be playing each week from here on.
awesome. So I want to have time for college football, so we need to get through these games. But a little overview is Week 15 is the week for big spreads. Jags, Eagles, Niners, Seahawks, all double-digit favorites, as well as the Texans coming in at 9.5, Chicago coming in at 7.5. So we've got some pretty big spreads on the slate this week. But we'll get it started with our Thursday night football matchup. It's a NFC South contest between the Falcons and the Bucks. Bucks favored at 4.5 at the moment, or last time I saw it earlier today. Falcons are out of playoff contention, not playing for anything. You also have Kirk Cousins on a short week, and while the Bucks are skidding, obviously an embarrassing loss to the Saints, but we know, as I said last week, the Saints have owned the Bucks. With the Panthers on the Bucks' heels in the division, coming off a horrible loss, this feels like a get-right game against a team that really isn't playing for anything. Baker hasn't been great in prime time. I've mentioned this before, and it's worked out. To fade him, I just think this week is the spot to take him in the Bucks, coming off that loss to the Saints at 4.5.
These two teams played an amazing Thursday night game last year in
Oh yeah,
Atlanta. If you
oh yeah.
recall that. I don't think we'll get that again this year. Although Kirk Cousins will be playing, he did play in it last year too. But I'm in agreement with you, and this deals with kind of the law of averages, I guess you could say again. Tampa's playing their second straight division game at home against a bad opponent. I just don't think they're going to lay an egg twice. It just doesn't seem. I just highly doubt that's going to happen. So I'll take the Bucks at -4.5 too. I don't think Tampa's good. I think injuries have caught up to them. Baker's kind of regressed over these last few weeks. I think he's still dealing with an injury. But Atlanta's nothing to play for, and short rest for an old quarterback. Bucks -4.5. Sunday slate. We will begin with the Browns at the Bears. Bears are 7.5-point home favorites. I don't really like this one too much, but I'm going to go with the Bears because this will be Shadeur's first road game against a competent opponent. The Raiders were not a competent opponent. It's going to be a tough environment because the Bears coming off a loss. Bears have been good this year, so I like the Bears to bounce back. I haven't looked at the forecast for this one, but this seems like a get right game for Ben Johnson and company. So Bears -7.5.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I kind of went back and forth because I looked at the forecast. It's going to be like 0 degrees in Chicago. So I think that kind of weather leans defense. I could see this being a close game, and the
But
Browns
we just
defense.
saw Tony Pollard run all
Right.
over the Browns defense. So.
But the thing that helps me here is under Kevin Stefanski, when Cleveland plays a tight game, meaning a final score within one possession, the Browns are 35-50-1 against the spread in their next game. I agree. Ben Johnson's going to dial something up for this one to put the Browns to bed. And the hook, I don't love it, but in a situation where you're going against a rookie QB, I'll take the Ben Johnson and at least a year or two, Caleb Williams. So yeah,
it's not my do not bet, but it's close.
Yeah, it was one that I considered. All right, Ravens at the Bengals. This one has the Ravens favored at 2.5 on the road. This will just be the third time Burrow is a home dog versus the AFC North. This happened in 2024 versus the Ravens at +2.5, and they lost 41-38. So barely didn't cover. And then 2020 versus the Browns at +4.5 and lost 37-34. It's hard because can you take the Ravens seriously in a revenge spot on the road here? It was a tough loss for both teams coming from last week. And there's been some off the field locker drama stuff going on with this Ravens team. I'm going to go Bengals. I didn't pick them last week, and it would have been obviously a good pick whether they'd won or not. But I got to go with them here because I just think Burrow elevates them in a way that no other QB can. And But the way they're going offensively, it looks pretty good, and I don't trust the Ravens offense at this point. So, yeah, give me the Bengals even with this hook.
So the Ravens defense last week made Aaron Rodgers look like MVP Aaron Rodgers. Keep in mind, Aaron Rodgers is now 41 years old,
He
so
ran one in for like the first time since.
that's quite an accomplishment to do. That's quite an accomplishment for a defense to do to make him look like an MVP again. And who are they going up against? Burrow and Chase and Higgins and that company. So yeah, I get it why they're favoring the Ravens here. Just like bounce back but I just can't. Yeah, I have to go Bengals here again at plus 2.5. Not a huge fan of this one either because these AFC North games can just be grinders, but I'm in agreement. Bengals plus 2.5. They've served me well 2 weeks in a row, so maybe they'll do 3. Okay, Chargers at Chiefs. Last I checked, Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites, and the Chargers are my dog of the week. So I expect the Chargers to win this game. But even if the Chiefs win, do you really expect them to win by more than a field goal with the way they've been playing? I don't. I don't understand the spread. A 2.5 point spread would have made more sense to me. Just by the way the Chiefs have been playing recently. But yeah, a couple of reasons is something's just off with the Chiefs, which we alluded to when we were talking about the Texans. They've just not been the same. They've been losing all these close games, so and I expect this to be a close game. And also, this isn't an official stat, and I might be getting biased here, but teams, I think, when the Colts need a team to lose to help their playoff chances, the team that they need to lose is probably like, in the last several years, probably like 136-0 winning. I don't think I've ever seen, and when the Colts are depending on somebody to help their playoff chances, that team always just wins. I mean, just look at the AFC South right now. I mean, how is this suddenly one of the best divisions in football?
Right.
Well, I mean, and that's how it was last year when the Broncos caught fire randomly late in the year to knock the Colts out of wild card position. And yeah, I just expect that here. So Chargers plus 4.5 cover, and I think they're going to win.
Yeah, so Mahomes as over a field goal favorite at home is around 47% against the spread. So it's usually a good bet to fade him in this spot. I agree. Like this, you don't feel good about the Chiefs. Everyone's out on them in this spot. But I think this is the time to take the Chiefs. Everything's been going wrong. It really hasn't all been Mahomes. There's been I just noticing that game against the Texans, a lot of drops by the receivers. Obviously, the big play to Kelsey. I see this as a bounce back spot of one of those buy low, sell high situations where you've got two teams on different trajectories, but fade a team that turned it over like the Chargers did in a sloppy Monday night grinded out game that went to overtime on a short week. I like Kansas City in this spot. I think just at some point you've got to flip it on them and take this position on them. And I think Herbert with the hand issue, I mean, they probably should have lost that game. He got away with it playing against the Eagles under a dome, but again, this is a cold weekend, and it's going to be Herbert outdoors in Arrowhead. I know C.J. Stroud and the Texans came in there, but I don't look at the Chargers defense quite the same as I do the Texans, and I think this could be a very good spot for the Chiefs. So I'm going to take the KC at -4.5. Bills at the Patriots. This is a big one. This is one of my favorite games of the week. AFC East divisional battle that could help decide the winner as the Bills try to track down the Patriots in this division. It's been 10 straight wins for the Pats. Some say it's fraudulent. Some predicted the Pats as a playoff team since we usually get a handful of new playoff teams each year, but no one expected them to be this good. and I kind of want to be on the Bills here. I don't know about you, but if this moves to, I see the line moving towards the Patriots as this one has progressed. The Patriots right now are -1.5, or no, Buffalo's -1.5. But I could see this moving to where Buffalo is an underdog, and I'll bet at them. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Buffalo right now as -1.5 point favorites. Buffalo is 2-0 straight up and against the spread as underdogs, like I think they're going to end up being by the end of this, beating the Chiefs and Ravens this season in those games. Josh Allen is 22-15-2 against the spread as a dog. Bills defense still allowed a lot to the Bengals, like I said. And the only reason you'd still be leaning Bills here is because of Josh Allen going into Superman mode. But I just like his experience in a big game against someone like Drake May, who hasn't played a lot of competition this season and doesn't have the experience for these type of big games to play up for.
Bills are coming off a high. Patriots are coming off a bye. And as we've seen multiple times with the Bills this year, they come crashing down a lot after highs. Josh Allen, keep an eye out for an injury to him this week because the Patriots are that's just what they've been dealing with all year with their opponents. So just keep an eye out for some weird Bills injury to develop this week. But nevertheless, I'm going to go Patriots at +1.5. Excuse me. I yeah, my prediction with the Patriots is I think they'll win this week, and then they are due for a loss. I mean, at some point they're just due for one. I think next week at Baltimore is going to be their loss. It just won't be this week. I think they're too far ahead of the Bills, and I think they'll. And this is the game they probably have circled on their calendar for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like they already have the division knocked up, you have to make a statement, and I like them at home to do that. So Patriots +1.5. Okay, moving from the AFC East to the NFC East in a game probably better than Bills Patriots. Honestly, Commanders Giants. It should be a very high stake game. I don't even know. I don't even care. Where is this game even being played? Is it being played at Meadow? Is it being played at New York?
Yeah.
I don't. Okay. Yeah, give me the Giants coming off a bye at home. I guess, yeah, that's who I'll give the advantage to. I mean, that's 2 pluses right there. This is a game I wouldn't bet because I don't care about it. Rao is down in Washington right now. I mean, Jaden Daniels tried to come back heroically. He got hurt and his team got shut out to a mediocre Vikings team. So, yeah, is Dart? I can't even keep track of Dart's injuries anymore. Is he?
I think he's expected to play.
Okay, so yeah, Dart brings energy. Yeah, I like the Giants here at -2.5.
Washington was hit rock bottom last week when they lost to 9 in the Vikings, and that's why that's the perfect spot to pick them this week. Jaden Daniels is expected to play, I believe, coming into this game. It's never a pretty sight when a team gets shut out like the Vikings did 2 weeks ago and then bounce back and shut out the Commanders last week. Washington is now up. So since 2015, teams that were shut out in their previous game are 34-17-3 against the spread, including 4-0 against the spread this season. I'm going to run it back with Washington like I did last week with everyone going to be down on this team. I like Washington. Just probably not going to watch it. Don't really care about it, but I think it's just one of those spots where you just take a team at rock bottom against a team like the Giants. All right, Raiders and Eagles. No trends, no stats. I just will not be taking the Raiders here. It's Eagles or no bet at all in a get right spot. Eagles, this is one of the big spreads, -12.5. And just the way it's been going, everyone, again, going to be down on this team. But I just can't in good conscience go with the Raiders with this one. So Eagles at home, Raiders going cross country. I like the Eagles in this one.
Yeah. I don't like it because the Eagles are obviously reeling right now, and they've only beaten one team this year by multiple possessions. Every win this year has been by 7 points or less. And so it just points to taking the underdog, but they've also just had a very difficult schedule. We alluded to this earlier in the year. Obviously, they're the defending champion, so it's going to make it harder. But I mean, they're facing the NFC North, facing the AFC West. They just haven't had many easy games. So, I mean, like they haven't played Washington yet. Their one, they obviously lost to the Giants, but then their one win by multiple possessions was against the Giants, and they're playing the Raiders, who are terrible and should have lost by double digits last week if they had kicked the saddest field goal in NFL history. So yeah, I'm gonna go Eagles minus 11.5. This is another one, like I said, don't like just because the way the Eagles are playing, but this is more of an indictment on the Raiders situation at the moment. Okay, Jets at the Jaguars. Jaguars are minus 11.5 point favorites. I fully expect the Jaguars to win this game, but I also expect the Jets to cover this because I feel like after a couple weeks, the Jaguars are due for a WTF game. Like Trevor Lawrence is due for one of those, and I feel like this is just the perfect spot for that. But like the rule, like I said, the Colts need teams to lose, so obviously that's not going to happen. But and the Jets are terrible, but Jets are coming off a terrible performance against the Dolphins. They're going south, warmer weather, where the Jaguars might be feeling a little too comfortable right now, and they're going to make it a close game, an unnecessarily close game. I like the Jets at plus 11.5 against Trevor Lawrence and the Jags.
Well, you know my feeling on Trevor Lawrence, but I think the addition of Jacoby Myers for this offense has been a bright spot that honestly has made Lawrence look pretty good, even though he still only completed 55% of his passes last week. To me, like I have to lean Jacksonville here just in case it's the backup to Tyrod Taylor. It sounds like there's a potential he may not play, and he's like a cover machine. If it's Fields, definitely take the Jets, but I think I'll lean Jaguars at home. Old Jags always lose this game, but maybe we are in a different era with Liam Cohen. The Jets were also officially eliminated from playoff contention last week, so something we all knew was coming. But again, now they're at the point in the season where they're not playing for anything. I could see the Jaguars running away with
15
it.
years in a row.
15 years in a row, gosh.
Longest active streak
Sorry, Jets
in
fans, for bringing that up.
in the four American professional sports leagues. I believe that is the longest active playoff drought.
Awesome. All right.
Not for the Jets.
Yeah. Cardinals at the Texans. I called the blowout to the Rams last week for the Cardinals. Seem to only get blown out by teams in their division. So this is the type of line and opponent that Arizona could backdoor cover. The Texans are not a real offensive juggernaut. We know this. So I think it's a nice spot for Arizona after a Houston win on the road, a big emotional win in Arrowhead, which is just a huge win to break a streak that against an opponent that's pretty much had their number. Most people are going to be all over the Texans here based on their winning streak. I think this line could continue to go up, and I'm going to be taking this dog. So CJ Stroud's home games have been a reliable spot for the under. He's 17-5 to be the under in 22 career home starts, including 4 straight. So I expect a low-scoring affair here, which could benefit Arizona in getting this cover at 9.5. And that is my dirty dog of the week.
We just keep disagreeing, but since that's your dirty dog, I feel like I don't feel very confident in this anymore. But what you said is true, though. This is probably going to keep going up, so that's why I like it where it is right now, under 10. Under 10.
Right.
I like that minus 9.5 number. But let's face it. Yes, they have been mostly against divisional opponents, but since their big win against Dallas on Monday night, the Cardinals are 0-4-1 against the spread.
They're due.
You could say they're due. It's just the Texans' defense has just been insanely good, and they haven't shown any sign of a letdown. So until they do show signs of a letdown, I'm just going to keep taking them. So give me the Texans at minus 9.5 against a reeling Cardinals team. Okay, another great game. Packers at the Broncos. This is my stay away game. And I kind of mentioned this earlier how both teams just really always play right next to the spread line, either by 1 point. So this is the definition of a stay away game for me. Uh, Broncos are 2.5 point underdogs, home underdogs against Green Bay. And like I said, I don't feel confident in this. This is my stay away game, but I'm going to go with the home underdog. Jordan Love, he's just so up and down, I feel like, and he's going to be playing a very good defense on the road. So, yeah, I just have a little more confidence in the Broncos as underdogs than the Packers winning by a field goal.
Right. Yeah. I don't trust Bo Nix fully, but my trust
Well,
in
no, but
Jordan Love.
his defense and special teams will carry him to victory, like they
Right.
usually do.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't trust Jordan Love either, and I almost feel like Denver at Mile High Stadium. I don't know if it's the elevation, but it's just where favorites go to die. You know, any time a team goes into that stadium against that team as a favorite, I don't like it. So I'm with you on this one. I'm going Denver at +2.5 at home as the underdogs here. Let's move on to the Lions at the Rams. Obviously, the Rams got the huge win against the Cardinals last week. Lions right now banged up offensive line. There's injuries in their secondary. I just think coming off a win against Dallas, it's going to be a tough spot with that secondary to go against Stafford, Puka, and Adams in that trio. And Sean McVay is 27-11 straight up, 26-11-1 against the spread in the month of December, winning 9 in a row outright. This line is sitting at 5.5 in favor of LA, and I think I'll take that one at 5.5.
I like this to be a field goal game, so I'm going to go Lions at +5.5. And that's mostly just due to how well Jahmyr Gibbs has been playing. He's just been incredible as of late, and that just opens up so much more because we all knew the Lions have St. Brown and Jameson Williams, and that Goff can throw to. And but just the way Gibbs has been playing, I just feel like their offense is just super super elite right now. And do I expect them to win? Not necessarily, but I expect them to keep it close. And that's why I like the Lions at +5.5. Plus Rams coming off a big blowout win, possibly a little letdown.
I like the angle.
But not my favorite pick, but it's also not one I would necessarily say I'd stay away from. So, yep, Lions +5.5. Another disagreement. Okay, Panthers at the Saints. Panthers are 2.5 point favorites. The consistent rule I've been following all year, and the one time I did not last week, it cost me because it turns out this rule is stronger than the Tua going up north to play. And that rule is a bad team coming off a win or a good performance. Always bet against them. What did the Saints do? They went into a team house who is currently leading the division and won against one of their bigger rivals, the Buccaneers. So absolutely perfect letdown spot at home. Only 2.5 point underdogs, but they'll lose by a lot more to a Panthers team that I absolutely do not trust, but they are coming off of a bye. And as I mentioned, lots of times they're playing a team who is coming off a big emotional win. And another thing like this late in the year, like these teams that don't have many wins or like have just one or two wins, they just want that one more win. They just want that feeling one more time. And then once they get it, they like, oh, we finally got that win. It's like, is there really much incentive? Like, are they going to try, I guess, hard when they're already eliminated and all that? That's why I think that rule plays stronger now. So Panthers -2.5 at New Orleans.
In Shuck, we trust. I'm going with New Orleans at +2.5. I'm surprised I'm going with them. I said I never bet on them again, but the Panthers haven't won or covered the spread in a game they were favored in since September of 2021. 4 full years. They've lost 11 straight up and against the spread as a favorite. To me, I still think the public will be all over this Panthers team. They're coming off a bye, and before that was their win against the Rams. The Saints will still be heavily overlooked. I don't care if they won last week. I also think they're a more consistent team than the Panthers. Panthers have been very up and down, getting blown out, and then winning a game against the Rams. Saints, they have been pretty consistent this year in keeping games relatively close and competing for all 4 quarters. I mean, I really like what I've seen from Tyler Shook. He's fun to watch. So I think at plus 2.5, I'm gonna take the Saints at home because I am not gonna pick the Panthers as a favorite. So New Orleans
I
plus
like
two
it.
and a half.
I do like your reasoning. That is a great because I've been playing that stat all year. But now that the Panthers are okay, yeah, they're starting to they are starting to be favored in more games. So
All right, Titans at the 49ers. This one is sitting at 12.5. This is one of the big spreads. Niners favorite at home. Titans obviously beat the Browns last week to get their second win of the season. They've lost 10 consecutive games, both straight up and against the spread after a straight up win. 49ers are coming off a bye. To me, this is lock of the week material. I'm taking the Niners to take care of Tennessee at home. I don't see a surprise cover here or win by the Titans after that big game.
So the last game I talked about, the note I wrote was bad team coming off a win plus Panthers off a bye. This one, my note is bad team coming off a win plus 49ers off a bye. I mean, it's the exact same reasoning. I have nothing else to say on this game. You described everything. Yeah. The only possible thing is a backdoor cover, but like Titans did earlier this year against the Seahawks. But yeah, just don't. Okay, Colts at Seahawks. On paper, it looks like a good game, but it's actually not likely going to be. Seahawks are 13.5-point favorites. And, I mean, there's really nothing happening with the Colts right now. I haven't looked at the headlines recently. I had an absolutely insane dream last night that they brought back Phillip Rivers for a few games, but
I thought it was a dream.
then I woke up and I was like, yeah, that couldn't have been real. So yeah, I mean, the Colts. Yeah, I mean, they're doing fine. Sure. Yeah. I mean, they totally have a quarterback on their roster who's healthy and
Oh my
definitely
gosh.
not lost their top two cornerbacks and their number one defensive lineman and their right tackle and yeah. So yeah, they're fine. They're fine. They're definitely not going into a place against a team that has not allowed a touchdown in the last two games.
Oh my god.
They'll be fine. Seahawks minus 13.5.
Yeah, same. This morning, actually, Phillip Rivers signed with the Colts practice squad. So going first on their practice squad after Daniel Jones was lost for the season due to an Achilles injury. So Rivers opened around 40-1 to win comeback player of the year before being quickly bet down to about 12-1 odds just an hour after signing. Look, the
Well, who's
Colts,
even in the running? Who's supposed to win that award?
I saw the other two names. I can't remember. Probably like Aiden Hutchinson or someone like him. The Colts' remaining schedule is no joke. Entering last week, they had the hardest remaining strength of schedule based on winning percentage at 67%. Now, with 4 games left, their opponent winning percentage is 69.2%. Still the hardest remaining strength of schedule. I don't trust it if it's Phillip Rivers, 44-year-old playing the most violent sport. No chance. I'll take the safe pick here, Seattle, to beat up on this Colts team. I just feel like their season started off so great, and we talked about them so highly, and it's just collapsing so immediately in these past 2 weeks with Jones going down and Sauce going down after the trade. It's just
Yeah, I mean, you can't even fault them for the Gardner trade because immediately after it happened, just everything just out of control. Everything just went downhill. But it had nothing to do with that. Jones getting hurt, like you said, Gardner getting hurt, Buckner getting hurt. Yeah, just incredible. One fun fact about this game, though, I just got curious. I looked back at this. Yeah, the Colts have only this game has only been played at Seattle once in the last 20 years. I think there was some weird scheduling quirk where for some reason the Seahawks went to the Colts twice in a row whenever they did the 4-year swing, AFC South versus NFC West. So yeah, it's been a rare game for the Colts to travel to Seattle. Like I said, It's only happened once in the last 20 years until Sunday. So interesting step. It's you, my man. It's you, my man. It's you.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes, it's you, my man.
Vikings at the Cowboys. So this is our Sunday night football matchup. The primetime games this week are not that great. Cowboys, I mean, they tend to play down to their competition. Since 2021, Dak Prescott is 14-9 against the spread off of a straight up loss as a starter, including 3-2 against the spread this season. The issue, since the start of 2024, Dak has faced a team under 500 off a loss 6 times, and Dallas is just 1-5 against the spread in those games, including 0-3 against the spread at home. There's a coaching mismatch, I think, here between Schottenheimer and KOC, but I'm not betting on 9. Give me Dallas at 6.5, -6.5.
9 did play well last week against. I mean, it's possible the concussion he got maybe fixed him. I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
I'll give him his flowers for last week. I mean, given it was against a terrible defense, but I thought Bobby Wagner was still really good. I saw he was like 4th in Pro Bowl voting. What are we doing? He's still living off his 2015 reputation. I don't even know why I'm going talking about that. I just saw that today and it made me mad. But back to the Vikings-Cowboys. At Dak at night against a mediocre team. The Vikings aren't bad. Like, I'm not going to say this is the bad team coming off a win play because, I mean, their defense is still fine. They still have Justin Jefferson and playmakers on offense. But, yeah, Cowboys at home, -6.5. I like that. Cowboys offense is still good. And the Vikings defense, while good, has definitely regressed a little bit since last year. Granted, they did just come off a shutout, so I mean, can't say they regressed too much. But yeah, Cowboys -6.5. Okay, and it's taken me to get to Game 16 to get to my lock of the week. But here we are at Steelers -3.5.
Oh my gosh.
Why I'm doing this is because we talked about last week the Steelers needed to go 3-2 to get to that 9-8 mark. So now they just need to go 2-2, and this is one of those that I think that it's a for sure win. But this is going back to my reasoning with the very first game we talked about, the Buccaneers and the Falcons, where I just feel like I said that Tampa playing bad against a bad divisional opponent at home 2 weeks in a row is just not going to happen. I don't trust Tua and the Dolphins to play well up north 2 weeks in a row. Yes, they finally got it done once, but twice, no, that's not going to happen. Steelers -3.5 really has nothing to do with the Steelers. It has all to do with the Dolphins not doing what they've been doing during the Tua era, which is sucking in the cold, and I'm sure it's going to be cold on Monday night. Steelers -3.5, lock of the week.
Yeah, this is a game where you got the Dolphins, who did something that I did not expect them to do last week, and then the Steelers, who did exactly what the trends always say they do in those matchups with the Ravens. But now we have a situation where they're favored at home over a field goal, and I've got to pick between them and the Dolphins. This is why it's my stay away game of the week.
No.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate this game. But the Steelers are really good on Monday Night Football. With the hook, fine, whatever. I'll take Pittsburgh, but I don't love it. So yeah,
it could be.
I don't trust the Dolphins. So.
I almost think it could be the Giants. This could be Dolphins at Giants. And I would take the Giants at -3.5 just because I'm a math guy, and the law of averages says Tua's not gonna play well in the cold for 2 weeks in a row. So, give me the Steelers at -3.5.
All right, that is the spreadsheet. Our picks against the spread for Week 15.